You are doing your best from your car. I'm impressed.
We're live. Hello.
Hey, everybody. Donna Vee, where are you right now? Because I want everyone to know how committed you are. She's so committed that she's gone, ladies and gentlemen.
She's so committed.
She's committed to be gone, but we're here. I'm Tracy Locke. This is the preeminent life coach, Kim Mazzella. Kim!
Hello.
How are you feeling this week? How has your week been?
My week's been crazy. Oh, Donna's coming. Hi, Donna.
All right, listen, I don't want to disturb you guys. If I leave, I just think that I'm trying my best, which is the fourth agreement, and you guys are going to go on without me. I don't want to mess you guys up. My intention was just to have it so that you guys can be here. So I'm sorry for any interruption we may have.
No, we're not having any interruption. I was just asking Kim how she's doing. I'm so excited for this topic. And I was finding out how her week is. How was your week, Kim? Tell us.
My week was crazy, busy, awesome.
Which is great.
Great.
So exciting. Donna Vee, how's your week going?
Well, I'm in a vet parking lot because my dog's got an enlarged heart, and this is the only opportunity.
Oh boy,
we lost.
Okay, we lost.
So let's say a little prayer for Yogi.
Please. Yeah, please say a little prayer for Yogi. That's the sweetest Yogi, little dog.
Surround the dog and light and just healing energy and just help him come home.
Yeah,
healthy.
Not over the rainbow bridge, on our side of the rainbow.
On our side of the bridge, yes.
Okay, because you said, come home. I'm like, wait, stay here. We don't mean that.
No, kind of. Come home to Donna in your house.
Exactly. Okay, so Kim, I am so excited about tonight because we have made it to the fourth agreement, which I cannot believe. And we have a lot of people that are tuning in and from all different areas and all different we have them from Facebook, we have them from Instagram, we have them from Periscope, and YouTube.
YouTube.
And so we've been getting a lot of emails, which is really exciting, with a lot of questions. And I've been fielding a lot of questions from a lot of people. So before we get into the fourth agreement, can you just explain, just super briefly? It's all good. Keep going, she said. Oh, so that's good news. It's all good. Yay. See, your prayer for Yogi already worked. And Seal's online. What's up? Okay, so if you could do just a brief synopsis, I know it's brief, of what the four agreements are for those people that are just tuning in right now.
Okay, so the four agreements are this idea that in life we take on all these beliefs that our parents taught us and things that we've learned from the world, and we should kind of throw them all out and live by a creed, right? And that and it should be. These are four beliefs. They're like called Toltec wisdom, and they're written by Don Miguel Ruiz. Mm-hmm. It's a great book. It's so small. I mean, anybody can read this book. And so the first agreement I find the hardest, and the fourth agreement, you really actually need to do all the other agreements. Yes. So the first agreement is be impeccable with your word, which means, and if you think about what manifesting is, because this is a manifesting channel, what manifesting is really making your word come true, right?
Right.
So actually your word is so powerful, it will come true. The more power you put behind it. So you really, honestly, if you think of your word as your bond, your word is what you tell the universe you're creating. So being impeccable with your word means not just not lying. It means not gossiping, not talking against somebody, not harming someone with your word, not saying something flippantly that might destroy someone. And I know people have done that to me and had no idea that they've done that to me. They might have been joking, right? And you're stuck in, like, everybody else's night went on and you're stuck in that, like, because you can't believe someone said something so flippantly, and it's painful. So be impeccable with your word means more than just recognize your word is creative. Your word can also impact other people. So then the next agreement is the second agreement, which is don't take anything personally. So, which is hard to live in the world.
Oh,
and not take anything personally.
Sure.
I mean, it's funny because I made a video on my Facebook page the other day about the how we're all kind of taking the election very, very personally.
Yes.
And we could really understand we have so much more power than who gets elected. Like in our personal lives, who is the president of the United States doesn't really, really impact us that much daily. And if we stopped paying attention to it would even like have less impact on us. Does that make sense? Now it does have impact. I mean, you're gonna have to pay taxes and stuff like that. But in the
Sure.
general realm of your daily life, is it worth giving that much attention? Right.
Right.
So don't take it personally. Kind of is, being on the receiving side of someone who may say something flippantly or do something, or most people are pretty focused on themselves. I have teenagers, and it's so amazing to see how much they think other people care about them.
You're like, listen, honey. Yeah, no one cares. Which is once you get that into your head, and we talked about that, we were talking about the second agreement. Once you really say, if you knew how little people think about you, you'd be shocked. But
Yeah.
it's freeing though. When you actually really think about it, it's freeing. And it's like, yeah, I need to do the right thing. And it doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Because 9 times out of 10, they're not thinking about it. They're not.
Right. And I always say that in what is it, Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
The top hierarchy, that when you get to the pinnacle, it's called self-actualization. And they say getting up there is really just letting go of the good opinion of others, letting go of everybody else's opinion of you, because
Yes.
A, they don't care, and B, it shouldn't have such an impact.
Right.
16-year-old go through these machinations of what she's wearing, and I'm like,
oh, I know.
oh my
I
God,
know.
no one cares. I mean, like,
I
no one.
know.
And actually, anybody who sees you will be like, wow, you're a stunning girl. But that's what all moms think, right?
No, I've seen your daughter. She's a stunning girl. Absolutely. But, Wayne Dyer always says, what people think of me is none of my business. And if you can repeat that in your head, it's just, again, another freeing thing where you're like, wow, it really is none of my business. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to know what it is. I'm just making it up of what I think they're thinking. And it's probably wrong. And then secondly, why am I even in that space of worrying about what they're thinking? Yeah. So those 3 agreements, Kim, it's so interesting. They're so simple. They're so concise.
I missed the third one, though. We didn't talk about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
And that is don't make assumptions. So
I assumed we talked about it. See?
Exactly.
Right there. I just did it.
So you don't make assumptions. And it's funny because I was thinking about that this week, and we make assumptions so often in text, right, about what someone means. I think text has ruined a lot of communication ability. Because I can't tell you, or I actually had a conversation with my boyfriend where I said something kind of flippantly, and he actually was like upset all night over it. And he the next day, like, kind of got the courage to talk to me about it. And he said, did you say Bubba? I'm like, I would never say that. Right. And he really thought he heard it. And so,
did you say it, what he meant, but meant a different way, or was not anything like what you said?
I might have said those words, but I didn't mean his context at all.
Okay.
Like, I would never have meant what he thought I was saying. So it was shocking to me. Like, wow, you like really ruminated on this. And I would never think or talk to you that way. You know what I mean? I would just never do something like that. But it didn't, I mean, in the way he heard it, in his context, that made a lot of sense. I would have been mad too if I thought, right? And it's so hard not to make assumptions. That's why we have to ask a million questions. And we just don't. We don't.
No, we don't. So, but how did that come up? How did you know? Did you ask him, or he said to you, hey, I have to talk to you about something?
He was kind of cold and upset with me in the morning. And I'm like,
okay,
what's up?
Yeah, like, hello.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I never would have done that. Right. That wasn't what I might have said. If I said that, I didn't mean that. Right. Like, in my head, I would have been angry at what now everybody's probably thinking, what is it?
What did she say?
No, really like a word choice that could have changed. And think about that. Like, little words can make such a difference in the way we experience things. And I always go back to my mother saying, when I was 6, Mom, does this outfit make me look fat? 6 years old. And she said, you don't have to worry about being fat yet.
Yeah, that word yet, right? Why would you ever put that in there? Right, sure. But it's so weird. So what I was saying before, it still applies. It's like, Kim, these things are so simple, but they're so huge, and you don't realize how often you go against them until they're brought to your attention.
Right.
All 3 of those agreements, I really tried to focus on them, and I was like, oh my God, I am breaking these agreements all the time.
Right.
And it does make a huge difference. It
have
makes a huge difference.
I was really surprised, because I've been studying all this stuff for so many years. So you forget that it's just not ingrained, right, in people. Even though, like, I'm always like amazed when people take my course that they're so surprised by the stuff I teach because it feels so. But I've been studying it since I'm 19 and I'm, now 20. So it's been quite
It's been a year. It's been a long year, kids. It's been a year. But why do you think that, Kim? Why do you think something so simple is not embraced or even talked about at all societally?
Because
really, it's not.
First place, I don't think we've ever made emotional learning part of our dialogue. People don't really. People actually think of emotions as being something that has to be overcome, right?
Right.
And so social emotional learning is not something taught since like this year in schools.
Right. Sure. Exactly.
So, and it's very slowly being input. So it's just not part of our culture because most of us had to work the land just to eat, right? So we went from very fast from a working the land to get our food to like this industrialized world in like 200 years. And in that time, it's like we just worked. And we have time now to sit back and say, wow, we really have to become happy. And one of the things I think is going on in the world is that I think that we're going through a massive transformation from earth to air. And what that means is that we're going from like being involved in the daily tasks of life to having to really kind of focus on the bigger picture.
Yep.
And connect to each other to do so.
Totally.
And so like all this drama that's coming up with everybody so angry at each other, I don't see that as a bad thing. I think if we stay there, it wouldn't be helpful. But I see that we're all starting to find our voice and now we got to find our voice and communicate. That's what.
Yeah. It's fascinating. I just listened to, Brene Brown, I'm sure very well. Yeah. She's talking about, and she's talking to these two women on our podcast, and she was talking about feelings and how emotions stay in your body. And we're so not used to feeling them that we don't realize they wreak havoc on your body if you don't.
Oh, I lost Tracy. So I guess I'm here. Are you there? I lost your volume.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, you're back? Okay. So anyway, the Brene Brown thing, what she was saying was, we're so used to pushing our feelings down and our emotions down. And she said, if you look at feelings like a tunnel where we start to feel something and we get stuck right in the middle and we stop it. She's like, you've got to feel them all the way through. Allow yourself to feel an emotion and actually sit in it and feel it and go all the way through it. Like there's the light at the end of it. But if you stop it, it can really affect you physically and affect how you deal with other people. I just thought that was fascinating. I was like, yeah, people are starting, because it is anger right now. There's a lot of anger, but at least people are feeling it and going through it. And I do see people becoming much more open emotionally than they've ever been.
Well, it's so funny that you said that because on my own personal group, the Supercharger Mindset group, I posted a video today. It's called The Volcano. And what the volcano is, have I ever done it with you?
No.
Okay, so what the volcano is a way to feel your anger, amplify your anger, explode your anger, and then transform it. And we don't really allow ourselves to sit with anger very long because it feels very uncomfortable. But the thing about anger is we think, Seth says that, if you ever read the Seth Speak book.
No, I haven't.
Okay, he says, we think that anger is going to become hate, and hate will become louder and louder. But hate really doesn't stay because it's too painful for us to sit in it too long. So if we go into hate or anger or that rage, what happens is if we let ourselves work through it, it transforms and we can get to the other side and see it more clearly, right? But we have to go through it.
Right.
And so what the volcano is anybody who wants to listen to it, is a way for you to feel your anger, let it come up, and then sit with it as long as you can possibly, and then work through it. Isn't it funny that I literally did this before I came on?
That's so crazy. Well, I just thought it was so valuable because how many times I've done it where emotion comes and I just push it away. I'm like, I don't have time for this. Which
Right.
is so crazy because it's the most important thing. You don't have time for it. You don't have time for your own emotions, and then you're going to let it sit in your body and become who knows what, right? Become something else.
But we didn't know this. We didn't know this until like Caroline Myss came out and did the, I don't know if you ever did the, read the book, Anatomy of the Spirit. I don't know
Okay.
how old that book is. Maybe 15 years, maybe 20 years old.
That's
Oh my
great.
God.
Okay. No, these are great. These are great things. I love the references so that we can actually do the work. And okay, so what you're going to talk
But
about?
she said your biology becomes your biography becomes your biology. And so a lot of the work is the chakra work where you really go in and figure out what you're holding on to. And in different chakra, and you can know because different chakras represent different areas of the body, and different areas of the body get sick for different reasons. So if you're if you have pain in your upper back, it's something different than if you have pain in your lower back. And so, she always says that the pain gives us like whispers, right? We get a little bit of pain,
Right.
or we get a little bit of a lesson. A lesson will always whisper to us first, like, you've got to learn this.
Yes.
And then it'll get a little louder, like, hey, you should really learn this. And then it gets louder until you get hit by the cosmic 2x4, and then you're sick in the hospital, because I think all anger becomes cancer in the body, right? So and where you get cancer is very telling. So here's the thing is we just hold on to it, and our body says, okay, I'm going to transform this. I'll transform it for you. And now don't get me wrong. Everybody who has cancer, it's not like you were, I mean, there's lots of different things. There's also pollution in the air, but and we all have an exit ticket. Just another thing. Like, none of us are here forever. This is a classroom, I believe. So I believe that we all have an exit ticket, and so we're not meant to live here forever. But I do think that you can transform energy before it becomes things physical.
But I think that's so important, Kim. I think a lot of people are just realizing that, as far as in the, in the world, in this world, like the manifesting world, it's not a new concept. I remember I was listening to Louise Hay, and she said, disease is, if you break it down. So same thing with Wayne Dyer, dis-ease. Right. So it's a dis-ease in your body, and you let it sit, let it sit, let it sit, and it festers just like it would if you had undigested food or something in your body that you just let sit. It's going to wreak havoc on your body eventually, because you're not expelling it. You're not letting it out. You're not taking care of it in whatever way that means, however that has to manifest.
And I honestly think that there's different levels of energy. So like shame is by far the worst. I think it wreaks the most havoc when I work with people. Shame comes up as very gray when I do, like I can see gray as shame, and shame. Why are we so ashamed? Like, some of us are just ashamed to be, right? I mean, I don't know.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't know. Like, I see my daughter and her friends, and they're all ashamed of their bodies, and I'm like, why?
And they're so beautiful. Isn't that the most ironic thing? You just look at these kids and you just go, if you had any idea how beautiful you are, you'd be dangerous, but you don't. Which is like,
the other thing is that I think we all need to feel that beautiful, because have you ever looked at pictures of yourself 10 years ago and you're like,
yes. You're like,
why am I so hard on myself, right?
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why I always say I feel the best right now, like really right now. And it's not like I look 18. It's because I know who I am, and I know what I want. And I don't allow other people to decide how, destroy my good spirit or decide how I'm going to feel. Right. I recognize that it's all me, but I've done a lot of work on myself.
Yeah, but you know what? It's fantastic. And I was just going to say this to you as I'm adjusting my camera because it keeps moving, that I've noticed in your videos, you look great. Like I was talking to you prior to going on air, and I was saying, Kim, I love your videos. They're so good. But one thing I didn't get to tell you, I was like, each time you do them, I'm like, she looks fabulous. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know if she's got like a makeup person coming in. She looks great. You look great. But you look great. You look, you just look vibrant. You look beautiful but vibrant. You know what I mean? Where you know exactly what I mean. Where you can feel someone's energy, and it's like, wow, it's exciting. So,
but I love the idea. It's funny because one of the things I always say is like this stuff I knew 30 years ago made me uncomfortable because I felt I felt different, right? Like like I was studying A Course in Miracles. Nobody studied A Course in Miracles,
Right.
and now everybody knows what it is. They may not be studying it, but they at least know what it is. I had people telling me that I was going to go to hell for reading this book. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, and now I don't care if you think I'm going to hell. That's your prerogative, and God bless you. And have fun.
You're like, God bless you, and I'll see you there.
Life, and I'm not going to stop just because you think I'm going out.
Right. Well, it's interesting too, because I think there's a lot of fear based in what people don't know. And again, you need to take the time to educate yourself as to what is A Course in Miracles. What are we even talking about? All of these things are all about the same thing. They're about a universal energy that we all belong to. And to feel that we're separate from it is just so wrong. And well, here's the thing, wrong is a harsh word, but to feel that all these different entities are not the same thing always blows my doors off. Do you know what I'm saying to you? I'm like, who do you think that all these people you're praying to are? It's all one thing. It's all the same energy. It's all the energy that created this whole world.
And one of the things that I always feel is like, everything is telling us the same thing in different ways. Like, connect to each other. Like, we're... what I give to my neighbor is what I give to myself. Like, how I treat my neighbor is how I treat myself. How I treat my world is how I treat myself. Like, these are very important concepts, I think, that we're going to start stepping into. I don't feel terror for the world. I feel like we're on the edge of awesomeness. I don't. And I feel like everybody I know is on the edge of awesomeness. And now we're just going to step forward. It's time to just, and so many of us are. So many of us are starting to really step into our power. I see so many of my friends, like, I'm done playing small. I'm done being less than. And I feel like, I don't feel like, because so many people say, the world's gone mad. No, the world's always been mad.
Yes. I agree with you, Kim. It's like, you know what? I don't think it's mad. I think it's shifting. It's shifting for the good. But it's definitely shifting, and there is and it's interesting too. Again, this is just so weird. I listen to Joel Osteen when I drive, and Joel Osteen, who is evangelical preacher, said the exact same thing. He's like, this is a time for a shift. He's talking about the what's happening with COVID. He said, this is not exactly what you're saying. This is not a negative thing. This is God's way of pushing us towards what we were doing before wasn't working. We need something new. We need to care about each other again.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, we're starting to do that. Even though there's a lot of anger, there's also a lot of people caring for each other in ways that they didn't before. How many times now do you call to check in on someone that you never called before? Or in your case, which has got to be exciting and fun, I would assume, it's like now you're having family dinners where you actually, people are sitting down and taking the time to cook and talk and be together, whether they want to or not.
I really noticed my kids are going back to school tomorrow. They're going back to the actual building. They've been in school all along, but they're both so excited. And I'm like, who ever thought you'd be excited to go to school, right?
Yeah, finally, right?
But I will say that when I go to work, I love going. I mean, I used to, now I'm like, yay. Like, I do think there's a shift in, we should talk about the fourth agreement, because I think it'll really tie into this, which is, what the heck is it? Always do your best.
Always do your best. Yes. It's always do your best. That's the fourth agreement for sure.
And so I just read it right before we came on, because I really wanted to make sure I was, like what we were saying. And one of the things that he said is it's really about living intensely, living. Oh, did you just do that? Or
No, that's just magic. Woo, we just thought about it and it happened. Bazinga.
That was really.
That's Donna Vee in the car. She's still with us. God love her.
I love her.
I love her.
So what he said is that that when we're fully engaged and present in our life, that is God in action, right? And that always doing your best will vary from day to day. I mean, some days you're sick, some days your best is just being able to show up. But I think that always do your best. I mean, one of my favorite affirmations, because I do affirmations every day, is I'll
Right.
do my best to make the best of it. I'll do my best to make the best
That's
of it.
great.
And I think that we tend to go through life and not grow through life, and we don't think about things as we're doing them. We tend to be impulsive. Well, I did. I mean, I was incredibly impulsive. Obviously, if you read my story, I mean, I was an addict to the T. And but just one of the, like, there is such beauty in a pause, right? If we could just pause before any action. It's I had a client or a friend where, find God in the pause, or whatever you believe in, right? Like, that's where because I believe there's only one stream of energy, only one, and it is love, right? So I call it
Right.
love. People call it God. But in that stream of love, right? You don't go into a stream of hate. You go away from the stream of love, right? And so when you are doing your best, it feels good, right? You're not doing your best.
Right.
I never do anything because I want to be a holy guru.
Sure. Right. Right.
But um but as a male, I'm starting to turn into a mushy female. Okay.
Do you
Well,
mean
no.
your body or your heart, Frank? That's what we need to know. Are you getting mushy physically or mentally?
But I think that here's the thing is that I feel like, like, if you ever see the yin yang, right? And that's
Yes.
feminine and masculine. And so the masculine is always in the feminine, and the feminine is always in the masculine, and we're all supposed to be yin yang. And if you ever, like, study the way energy flows through us, we all have yang energy, we all have yin energy. And if I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. So we're all a balance of that. And what has happened in, like, the last 2,000 years, if we've been all yang, which is male,
Right.
all
Right.
and moving forward, make it happen. And we need to balance it with the reception, the receiving, the quiet pause, right? That's what that feminine energy is that we all have, and the masculine energy that we all have. And so if you can think of it as, I have a cousin, my cousin Peter, he's a guy, and I always call him a Renaissance man, because he doesn't do this stuff, but he embraces a lot of the willingness to pay attention to your emotions.
Right.
And I feel like the women are, like, dragging the men forward. And so if the men could just, because we need everyone to get involved in this, because our emotional well-being is is the phase we're going into. Because I'm going to explain something. We attract, our thoughts create our feelings, and our feelings are attractive. Well, our thoughts are attractive, right? But our feelings create more thoughts. So you really got to capture the way you feel and move up the scale. So one of the things I always say is your feelings will tell you what you're thinking. And if you're not thinking great thoughts, if you're below content or better, you got work to do.
Yes.
And so we've been in a generation where men were just allowed to be angry. Right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And women,
absolutely.
we're angry, we're bitches.
Right. Right. Yeah, you're allowed to say no, absolutely. Absolutely.
We're bitches, but men are allowed to be angry. Actually, angry man in a boardroom is, like, considered, oh, good for you. And really, we're supposed to always work through our anger. We're not supposed to stay there.
Right.
And so I feel like it's about finding balance. And when we find balance as a group, we're really going to be able to find balance individually and vice versa. So each person is really responsible, I believe, for letting go of these old paradigms that say, to be a woman, you've got to be like this, right?
Right.
Women are told to be agreeable.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And not stand up for themselves.
And not make a fuss. Don't make a fuss. Don't make it emotional. Don't make a scene. Don't be overly dramatic or emotional. That's what we're always told.
And I'm not saying that women should get out there and get angry and start beating people.
But it would help, girls. It would really help. No, I know exactly what you're saying, but and it all brings back, Kim, this is what I'm going to talk to you about the fourth agreement. Always do your best, because what I found, again, I've been practicing this as just, like, on the base level, because you guys are the experts and I'm doing the practical part of it. But if you just go into, you're an expert. Yes, you are. But anyway, here's the thing.
I'm practicing it every day.
You're in practice. You're a light worker in residence. You're here. You're doing it. But if you put these into action, okay, for again, fourth, always do your best. When you know you're doing your best, you're giving everything that you have, you're not so stressed about like my big thing was, I've got to make it happen. I've got to make it happen. I've got to make it happen. And then when you just say to yourself, you know what? Just do your best. And whatever you do that's all you can do. And it gives you this sigh of like, well, I did my best. I prepared and I did everything that I knew how to do. And that's all I can do.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a valve pressure.
Thing.
Yeah.
So I get to that phase too, because I can be very, very type. I'm not type A because I'm not organized, but I'm type tense.
Right.
Type I.
Right.
I get very intense, and I could be like working on something for like 7 hours, and I'll be where did the time go? Right.
Yes.
And I can be very focused on what I'm working on. But here's the thing. One of the things I really learned is that if you're not enjoying what you're working on, if it feels like work, stop, because you are attracting what you don't want. Right? Because right, you're attracting more hard work, right? I love Thomas Edison. He always said he never worked a day in his life, and they said he was always in his 3,000 attempts to make a light bulb.
Isn't that amazing?
I would have stopped after that.
I know. Can you imagine though? That's I'm doing my best to join you right now. She's so cute. Yeah, but that's true though, Thomas Edison. How many of us would have just given up after like 10 and be like, okay, we're not meant to find this? But he was enjoying it. It was like it's like a challenge. And I think if we're not so worried about the outcome and more about the journey of I'm doing my best at this moment, it's such a more joyous situation. It's not like I've got to figure this out. It's like I enjoy trying to figure this out. So it's like a puzzle to me. So this is fun. So that's practically what I see out of it is like if you just show up every day. And can you say your mantra again? Because that was so good. And you said it really fast.
The best of it.
I do my best to make the best of it. Today, I'll do my best to make the best of it. I think that's
great from Abraham Hicks. I didn't create that one, but
that no. I'm saying that's a great mantra because it's I'm going to do my best and everything that I can do. What else can you do? You can't get mad at yourself with that. Like how many times I struggle a lot with the getting mad at myself and rehashing. Well, I should have done that and I could have done that. But if you keep in mind, I just did my best. One
of the things, there's two things I want to mention that when you just said, so when we say I should, literally, one of the things that Abraham Hicks always says is that the difference between your inner guide and you is your inner guide is you that never looks back, that always looks forward, right?
Right.
So if you understand that you looking back, the only point of looking back is to see what you want to do differently. But if you look back, you'll immediately be unhappy. But if you're looking forward about what you want to create, what right? Because should is, when you say the word should, you're right. I always think of the inner guide here and me. Where am I in relationship to my inner guide? Because there's only one relationship. So if you say I should have, you're immediately here, right?
Absolutely.
So because the inner guide is always moving forward. Okay, like directions, when you put in the directions and you don't go the way your directions tell you to go, they don't go, you rat bastard.
Yeah. What were you thinking? Right. They read.
They just what go, is it? Okay. And then you hear boo, and then you get like reset, right?
Yeah. What's the word they say? Oh my God, I can't think of it. Recalculating. Thank you. Recalculate. Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
And they're not like recalculating, you idiot.
Yeah. Nice move, right? Sure. Exactly. Well, what can you do, Kim, practically? This is one of the questions that I got, which I thought was brilliant because I struggle with it. People I know struggle with it. So when you get into that should mentality of like, I should have done, is there something practical that you can do to kind of snap yourself out of that train of thought?
A couple things. Well, first place, okay, let's go to the should, right? When you should yourself.
I should all over myself.
Yeah. When you should yourself, say, oh, I hear myself shooting. And that means that I decided to judge myself. I'm judging myself. What is it I'm afraid of? What is it I want? What is it I'm afraid that I've messed up? What do I know? And then you try to find a sentence that feels like, my sentence is there's no time. It's a human's construct. I can have time last as long as I need it. Right. So, because a lot of times we think we missed the boat, right?
Yes.
Or we missed an opportunity.
Absolutely.
And if we understand that time, this is a little deep, but if there is no time, there's always going to be more time, that your life will expand and give you all the time you need to get what you need done. And that there's always another opportunity. You could think of it like that. The other thing is that getting grounded is another thing you could do is just find something more joyful to think about, because remember, if we focus on what we don't want, we're attracting more of that. So you could say, okay, I'm going to forgive myself and release myself, right? I forgive myself from this. I'm going to release myself from this. I'm going to focus on something else I want to focus on. I'm trying to think about what I do when I'm in that place. The other thing is, I spend a lot of time pre-paving my day. So I always start my morning making sure that I'm going in the direction I want. But I will say that there was a time in my life just recently, from like August and September, I was like, there was something that I couldn't let go of, right? I kept shitting it, right? I couldn't let go of it. And it was a big thing. Like, it wasn't a little thing. And I was I know all the rules and I do all the work, and I kept doing the work, and it was like, I would do the work, I'd let it go, and I'd take it back. Right.
Sure. No, that's what I mean. It does keep coming back.
Take it back. And literally, that's when you get on your knees and you say, thank you, universe. I need help. Right. I need help. So I do believe that there's guides that can help us. But even if you don't, like, let's say you don't, connect with a friend. I find a friend or a life coach or someone. Now, I believe that there's guides, and I do believe that there's a force. I study Abraham Hicks. Of course, I believe there's guides, right?
Sure.
So you say, I need a miracle. Thank you for a miracle. I'd like a miracle right now. Help me release this from my mind. I release this. I ask for a miracle. So I know that for a miracle to happen, you have to ask for it, and you have to be open to it, right? So sometimes miracles, right? And believe. So, just keep looking. I ask for a miracle right now. Please give me a miracle. The other thing is that I'll take my mind off it and bring my mind really, really to what I'm doing. So that's actually doing your best to make the best of it, because if you want to always do your best, you have to always be where you are. Right.
Yes.
And so,
that's huge.
Nathan, who wrote this book called The Miracle of Mindfulness, such a great book. I talk so fast when I get excited.
I know. Wait, what did you say? Because I missed that. What's the name
His
of the
name
book?
is Thich Nhat Hanh.
Yes. Okay. Vietnamese.
Thichan. They wrote a bunch of books, but my favorite one is called The Miracle of Mindfulness.
Right.
And
Tibetan. I said Vietnamese, but he's Tibetan. Sorry.
I guess so.
Yes, he is. He is, because I'm familiar with it, and I was like, he's not.
He wrote another book called Living Buddha, Living Christ. It's a really great book too. It's way bigger than The Miracle of Mindfulness. But anyway, and these books are old. So in The Miracle of Mindfulness, he talks about the fact that we are always ahead in our minds. We're always going forward, right? And so the Buddhist monks will do everything with two hands, right? So they'll grab the door. They'll do everything with two hands to become mindful of what they're doing.
Wow.
Right?
Wait a minute, Kim. That's huge.
Right.
Don't go so fast over that, because that is such a huge thing that you can do. That's like a practical thing that you can do. So instead of grab a cup with two hands, you're in it. Do you know what's weird? When I shake people's hands, when we used to shake hands, I always would grab with two hands, because I don't know why, but it made me feel like I was connecting. So I shake your hand and then put my other hand on that too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for you. So you were doing it without even knowing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But the two hands will make you mindful.
Yes, but there's another thing to do. So the two hands is, I don't know. Like, I've tried like for an hour to do everything with two hands, like write with two hands.
Wow.
It's just but the idea is to do everything deliberately and mindfully, right? Be in your body, even hear your breath mindfully. Notice your breath come in, notice your breath go out. But it's called wash dishes to wash dishes. So one of the things that he says to do is whatever you're doing, you're usually ahead. Right?
Yes.
So when you're washing dishes or you're drinking, pay attention and describe it. So Sonia Choquette calls this describing the room, but I call this wash dishes to wash dishes. And so when you're washing dishes, notice the soap, describe the soap in your head, describe the pan. I'm going to put this pan over here, and then I'm going to, right. And then
the way it smells, the way it feels,
Yeah.
that's like so relaxing to do that.
right,
Have you ever
just-
done that now that we have to wash our hands a lot? I've done that where I've just been washing my hands and I'm washing my hands for like 2 minutes. I don't even realize.
Especially, I learned how to wash my hands correctly in a video,
Yeah.
and I've been doing it wrong my whole life.
I'm like, oh, there's stuff in there? Yeah, in between? Especially my sausage hands. There's a lot of room for them to be stuck stuff in there.
But did you see those videos with the gloves where they would wash their hands and they'd be like show you all the parts you didn't
Yes, and you're like, oh my God, I've been
Wow, I
touching
really
people's hands with 2 hands. Yeah, oh boy. Yeah, so so you could be really mindful that way. That's huge to keep you in the moment. Oh, that's fascinating.
And another thing is that, and I think this is the biggest thing of life, like really the biggest thing of life is connecting to the people in your life, right? I mean, if you are always, always doing your best, and then part of doing your best, it's not about, I think sometimes we get weirded out by the word service, because then it makes us feel selfish when we don't want to live in service. And Abraham Hicks will never tell you to go around and like help people all day, but it makes you feel good, right? Do the things that make you feel good. Do the things that make you feel joy. And if you think about, what is it that one of the times, so during that time when I was really, really angry, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was just angry, and I kept taking the anger back and the resentment back. And I just kept taking it back, and I'd let it go for like an hour, and then I'd be like, I want to hold on to that for a little while.
I'm totally with you, Kim. You have no idea how much I'm with you, Anna. You have no idea.
And then you be in bed and you're like, am I really going to let myself think about this? And then you do listen to a meditation.
Oh, yes, I am. For 5 hours, I am. Oh, my God.
You should have called me.
Oh, I did every 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing I could think of. Snap my. But the 2-hand thing is.
Right.
But anyway, finish what you're saying, because I just thought that's brilliant.
Connecting to people. And so I think that when something gets in our head, right, and we ruminate, we don't see it very clearly, right? And so, yes, we might go to our guides and ask them to help us, but we have to find some people in life where we really bounce ideas off them and say, listen, and I think that we are so used to, well, I mean, I have like my 2 really good friends that will tell them everything.
Yes.
But we need to be able to connect and share and say, listen, I have this thing going on in my head, right? So I do something called the neutral witness, where I try to describe it from far away so I can understand why I'm so upset, right?
Okay.
Or I call it getting the mountaintop view, like almost seeing it on a television. And if those things aren't working, if I just keep taking it back and I just keep taking it back, what I'll have to do is share it with a friend. And I'll say, I can't let go of this. Will you help me? I've asked for a miracle. Help me. What do you see? And for me, it's very important to go to someone who knows my belief system.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have to be very careful who you go to with that kind of information.
Because I always want to play big, right? I want to play big. I don't want to play small. I don't want to. And so that you'll always be able to find someone that will say, oh, they're a dirty dog. And
Exactly. Screw them. Get them out of your life. Right. Oh, yeah, totally. Of course you're going to get that.
Right. But I think that the other thing is that to remember that there's a lot of solutions for anything, right? So we tend to think it's a dualistic world. Wow, I've given a lot of stuff today.
I know. So it's like fascinating. You're like an encyclopedia. You're on fire, Kim. You really are. This is fab. I'm like, okay, Donna, you usually here so I can write stuff down in between. But I'm going to rewatch this because there's a ton of great stuff. But go ahead.
Well, okay, so we live in a dualistic world. So we are very, very used to thinking of twos, right? Up and down. I mean, think about our party system, Democrats and Republicans. We're the rest, right?
Yes, right.
That's why so few people vote. Most of us don't feel like we match one of those parties, right? So up, down, left, right, black, white, whatever. We are so used to thinking that there's 2 options. So when we have a problem, we are so used to thinking that there's 2 solutions, this or that. right? And there might be 65 steps that we haven't considered in getting to where we really want to go. And often we just get locked into what we think we have to do, and so we don't even hear other options.
Yes.
And so if you want to go to that trusted person or life coach or somebody that will not go to that low place of the emotion and wants to, because we sometimes feel so justified in being angry, right?
Absolutely.
We feel so justified in being angry, but you always want to ask yourself, is this justification going to ever give me what I want? Right? Is it okay? So I'm so right. Right? Okay.
Right.
So do I want to be like, so right, I'm dead, right?
Yeah. So,
Right.
I totally get exactly what you're saying. And it's
Right. And so Dr. Wayne Dyer always says we could be right or we could be happy. Like what's more important right now? So often we think that there's just this solution and that solution, and we get so lost in our head. And if you find that trusted person who could maybe walk you through other options, or at least let wow, you really are wanting to stay hard in your anger. I know that, like, when people come to me and they want to talk to me about, they get mad because I won't let them complain or vent. Like, I'm like, okay, like, you can vent for about a minute, right? Because I need to know the story. But I'm like, okay, what do you want to create going forward? I just want to complain. Well, don't come to me for that.
right. Sure. But I think that's so important that you say that. I think more people said it instead of, but I think sometimes too, Kim, as you know, misery loves company. People love to hear, okay, give me the dirt and let me hear what a jerk this person was, or that, or your boss was, or this, so that I can feel a little bit better about myself. So you have to be really careful about, Donna Vee, how you doing?
My gosh.
You did your best and you made it.
Of course I made it. I wasn't going to let you guys down.
Cheers to you.
Keep going. Oh, look at you guys drinking. What did you guys have, a drinking game? If Donna Vee shows up,
I'm drinking my electrolyte drink.
If Donna Vee shows up, everyone does a shot. Here we go. Social.
Oh, man. Larry,
okay.
What's up, Larry?
Donna. Okay, so we were just saying that we were talking about the fourth agreement, always do your best. And Kim has given us, oh my God, Donna, you've got to watch it. There's so many amazing things.
I was listening from the car. I just didn't want to keep interrupting you guys. So I turned it off because I was in my car. So
you have to go back and rewatch it because there's so many great things that Kim was saying, and she's given out like huge nuggets of actual things you can do. And we're just talking about the ramifications of when you always do your best, what that alleviates and what that creates in your life. And so what we were just talking about is letting things, I had said to Kim, when you take that fourth agreement and always do your best, I find that it's kind of just like relaxes the tension of trying to force something in square peg round hole, because you say to yourself, I'm doing my best. So if it doesn't work out, it's not meant to work out. It's kind of like a pressure valve that comes off. And so it's just a fascinating thing to put into practice. Yeah. So we're talking about all those stressors of when you can't let go, when you can't say, we were talking about shoulds. And so there's a lot of stuff if you want to comment about any of that. But Kim has given all these huge nuggets of amazingness.
We talk about mindfulness. We talk about like the Buddhist grabbing things with both hands. We talked about becoming present. We talked about, I gave the books out. We talked about Carolyn Mace. We talked about
I heard a lot of it. I was actually listening to a lot of what you guys
what do you have us on a GoPro on a roller coaster? What is happening over there, Donna?
I'm looking
it's like I'm gonna put you on Steadicam and we're going for a ride.
No.
Okay.
You know why? Because I literally left my ring light in the car. I took my ring light with me in the car.
Okay.
Plugged it in.
That lighting looks great. Stay right there.
That's exactly why I was moving all over the place. Thank you so much.
I can understand that. I give you
That's
credit
why I was moving. So
totally get it.
No, I agree. I was listening to a lot of stuff you were saying. I just didn't want to keep interrupting the broadcast. So that's why every once in a while I would put something across the bottom.
Yep.
Or I was trying to get some of the comments in. But I listened to most of the broadcast, and I will say that I agree. I do think that the world is going through a huge transformation right now. I do think that doing your best is all that you can actually do. And I think that people really need to realize that that's really all you can do. If people start taking the pressure off themselves of the responsibility of others, I mean, I know just from the transformation of what I've gone through in my business, it's very interesting how when you can look at things from a perspective and a higher perspective, like for instance, when I was first going through the transformation of my business, and I thought it was going to be the most devastating thing in the world because I had a huge change with my staffing and stuff. And I will tell you that once the rubble is cleared and it is really allowed for me to recreate things, it's like I've gotten a chance to recreate a business model in a business that I've had for 19 years from a higher perspective, from a place that I'm at now that I wasn't at 19 years ago. And when you look at life and you take the opportunities that it gives you to change and transform the moment that you're in now, with the perspective of what you know now, as opposed to something from long ago,
Right.
it really does make
Totally.
a huge difference.
It totally
which is why this fourth agreement really resonated with me, which is always do your best. But your best is going to change as you get older. Your best is going to change with every situation. For me, like I said, I didn't want to have to cancel tonight, but I had to do my best for you, but I had to do my best for my dog, because my dog is my family member who's been around for 13 years. And I couldn't say no, because I'm like, well, who am I being selfish to? So I took myself out of the equation, made sure that you guys were able to do the broadcast. I knew I could count on you because I am surround myself with amazing people. And I knew I'd get here when I could. So I appreciate you allowing me to do my best. And I just didn't want to be disruptive. Like I've said before, when you have a poor connection, and that goes for life, when you have a poor connection, instead of trying to really shove yourself into a situation, just take yourself out of it. So what would I have been doing for everybody that's watching if I would have just been coming in and be like, hey, can you hear me now? Hey, can you hear me now? My ego's not that large. Like I didn't need to be there for that. So
no, but that's a great analogy.
Yeah,
that's a great analogy.
So I knew I could count on you.
Oh man, Kim came with big bats tonight. Big bats, fully loaded. She looked, and it's like flown by.
I knew that.
The thing is, like, it just goes so scary. It's so fast and scary. I'm like, oh my god, I just want to take all of these and put them into notes. So, is there anything else, Kim, that you want to touch on the fourth agreement that we haven't hit while we have Donna on the line? Oh my god! Now I'm moving.
We
around.
do have 8 minutes.
Two things. One of the things that when you think about doing your best is just to remember that there's a line in the Course in Miracles that's 2 lines, right? There are no idle thoughts and there are no neutral thoughts. So everything that you think is either bringing you closer to war or closer to peace, right? And so if you can think of that as the most important thing that you could do your best about, what you think about, what you focus your attention on, because we're so used to thinking about the big things, what I'm doing in big life, but really it's how you treat people, how you talk about yourself, how you think about yourself, and how you think about your others. That is so much more important and will make such a bigger impact on the world than anything you do during your day, right? I mean, if you come to the world with, I'm just going to be kind, I'm going to be doing my best to be the kindest person I can be, do my best to be the realest and most authentic person I can be, that's what doing your best is. It's not even about like creating some massive thing. It's just about showing up in the moment and just trying to be the best version of yourself. That's it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's fantastic advice. And it's, we're learning steps of how you can actually do that, which I think is so important. And those 4, and we went over, Donna, all 4 of the agreements. Yeah. And we were just talking about how I was saying to Kim's put this in practice for 20 years, but I'm practicing this now. So this is all new to me, relatively new, not totally new to me. But I was saying, it's like, you don't realize how much you don't do these things. And when you start to really implement them into your life, you see how much of a difference these simplistic little things make and how much they take you to another level of like, whoa, I can't say that. Why am I saying that? Why am I doing that? What am I?
Right.
And just these tiny little tweaks make such a huge difference.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
Put them up if you want. You want me to put them up really quick?
Yeah. No, we would. Oh, yeah. Put them up.
I said yes.
Yeah. Put them up.
Well, be impeccable with your words first. Don't take anything personally is the second. The third is don't make assumptions. And the fourth is always do your best. And it's interesting because one really does hinge on the other. But if you
Yes.
always do your best about being impeccable with your word, the thing is that you can't take anything personally and don't make assumptions. Like, I know it sounds weird, but like it is true. They all interconnect.
They totally do. They're all building blocks. Once you get one, and then you can do another. And totally, I feel that that's that.
But
Oh
I
my
know
God.
that that's the sequential order that they're in the book. But I think that honestly, sometimes, I don't know what Kim thinks as a life coach, but to me, I feel like you could start with whatever one is most, I guess, it pings for you. Right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say so, Kim?
Well, I feel like number one, if you do number one, it kind of covers number 2, 3, 4. Like I really like if you're impeccable with your word, that means you don't gossip about people. You kind of don't take things personally. You don't make assumptions because you're always asking questions and getting to the truth of things. But I do think that some people could just improve their entire lives just by not taking things personally, right? Like, you know, I mean, like, so I think that if you do one of these, your life will improve. You know?
Tremendously. I agree with that. Just implementing one and really taking it seriously, I think is huge. I agree with that exactly. They all pop into my head in certain situations. Exactly. That's the thing I'm
My
talking
favorite
about.
one, really. Sorry.
Oh, Donna, he said you look good in any light. How cute is that? What's your favorite one? What did you say?
No, I said Chris Quigley wrote, "You look good in any light." I'm like, that's actually my favorite one.
You're like, I like it. I like that. Put that up there. Keep that up there. But do you know what I mean? Like, this is just such valuable information that I don't think people realize. Kim is like, these are gold nuggets served on a silver platter. That's like holy banana cakes. Like, if you just pay attention to this stuff, I'd say banana cakes. And you know what I mean? It's like, come on. You know, it's like, it's just such cool. I'm just so excited about it. But anyway, do we know what we're talking about next Monday to preempt it? If we don't have to. But I know Donna's going to get her cards. I see her running around.
We could talk about so much. I was actually thinking about, I mean, I don't know what you think about this, but I feel like I've been doing a lot of work on my money mindset and I think that, like, based on what's going on in the world, maybe this might be a good time to talk about money mindset and manifesting.
Yes,
I think that's
I
huge.
just spent some money at the vet. Okay, so
God. Bottom line, before you do the cards, is Yogi okay?
He's getting older.
He's
getting sweet Yogi.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure though he's in, like, you know, the best shape we can make him in.
Okay.
Yeah. So
here we say prayer.
Thanks.
Yes, he's the sweetest.
I honestly have to tell you, I'm gonna learn a lot from this whole thing, and I don't know if we could do a segment on loving your pets and like what happens with them, but I will tell you that money mindset would be good.
Better than the pet thing.
Well, go hand in hand right now, actually.
Yeah, well, you know what? You know what's so funny? I'm going to say something really quick. We took my dad's dog, who is my dog too, but you know, I gave her to my dad, and she's like been the best dog. But I'll never forget. I had to sign something that said, if needed, will you be okay with giving her like a $5,000 surgery? And I was like, what? Wait, what?
That's what I mean.
And then you just go, oh my God, that's horrible. But the dog is like 12 years old. And you go, it's a dilemma. So anyway.
It's a horrible dilemma. And I just dealt with it in a parking lot. So I understand that.
Yeah.
It's a terrible dilemma.
It is a terrible dilemma. It's not funny at all. It's like, it's not funny. I'm not laughing at that. I'm just saying.
No, I know you're not.
Like,
I know you're not. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, that's a conversation that I had to just have with this vet. It's like, I love my dog. He's 13 and a half years old. And like, when do you know, what do you do? Because I've never had a pet from, you know, start to end of life. And
you want the dog to have the best quality of life, and you don't want to extend life if it's going to be crappy quality, because then you're just doing it for you. I've done that, and it's horrible. Meaning, I didn't do it to make anybody suffer. It was very hard to let go, but in the end, you don't want to do that, you know?
Yeah. So, all right.
But anyway, all right.
Cards.
Kim has, because she was just like on fire tonight, so she deserves it.
Tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Okay. And here we go.
You're like, not what I would have done, but just go ahead with it.
Oh, you guys. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Nature.
Okay. I'll take it.
Nature. Get
Nature.
outside, girl.
Well, I'm gonna need a football game on Friday night. I'm freezing my butt off in the rain.
Let's see what this one is. Maybe it's sweater. No. Oh, it's meditation. Perfect.
Oh, that's good. I did it for about 20 minutes before I came here tonight.
Really?
Nice.
All right, these are Tracy Locke's cards.
Come on.
Come on down. You're the next contestant.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Here we go.
Let me see. If you get new love again, I'm telling you right now.
It's happening. Okay,
It
stop.
could be. Wait. Okay. Come on.
You're right
You want
there.
this way or this way?
Whatever you choose.
All right.
So much pressure.
All right. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Listening.
Listen.
Someone's
Da, da,
listening.
da.
And the underneath card is divine guidance.
I'm listening.
Wow, that's a great
Guidance.
combination. Listening and divine guidance.
I will be listening. Earbuds will be turned up.
No, because that means that you're asking some serious questions. That's what I'm thinking. You
Yeah,
have
I
something
am.
heavy on your heart. And the thing is you are listening right now, and you will get your answers through divine guidance and prayer. So, maybe do it right, Kim. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I think that's awesome combination of cards.
Great combination. You're welcome for my shuffle.
Thank you.
I mean, I was
Thank you
driving
very
home
much.
at 90 miles an hour going, I must get the cards read.
I actually thought, how did we end the show without cards? I mean, I have tarot cards here.
We
but
have to always end the show with
Come on,
cards.
girls. I'm
interesting.
going to let you down.
It's part of our
I was
brand.
like, doctor, you know what? Just email me with what's going on with my dog. No, I'm just kidding. I actually said to the tech that came out to get the payment, I'm not going to tell you the payment. That's not necessary. But when he came to the car and I was like giving him the money, I'm like, the last time I spent this much money giving somebody cash out the window, I definitely got something back. That's all I'm going to say. And he almost peed his pants. I was like, and I'm like, can I at least get a receipt for this? And he was laughing, and he came back, and I'm like, thank you. I at least can submit this one, not that one. That was a long time ago. All right, I'm ready, and here we go. All right.
Make it
Then
happen.
my aunt said number 13. Christina said she can't wait for Wednesday. You guys, Wednesday is going to be incredible also. Here we go. Playfulness. That's what I bring to this show, you kids. All right? That's my job, you crazy kids.
Mm-hmm.
Support. That's
Support.
right.
Oh.
Support. I have playful support. That's right. That sounds like a training bra.
That was good.
Yeah, that's good.
My aunt said
Very
number
good.
13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Here we go. This is for my aunt and for anyone else that wants it. And that's New Beginnings, and that's a great card.
Oh,
You
wow.
guys, this has been an amazing broadcast. I'm glad that I got to find out that I could help you guys through the car. My whole idea was I needed to make sure the show went on. And I will tell you, I did a live broadcast from my car for the day that Courtney went for her colonoscopy. And I got to say thank you to everyone that prayed for her, sent love and light. That was last week. She did an amazing job cleaning herself out. And the doctor actually said, your
She
colon
poops like a champ.
your colon is just as beautiful as you. And she said, well, thank you. And everything's good with her. She has to go back for a follow-up endoscopy in a year.
Yay.
The reason why my broadcast was clear was because I was able to do it from the phone, which is amazing. It's more modern. But I had to keep the phone line free because I needed the doctor to call me. So that's why I had to do it from the laptop. So I
Makes
just wanted
sense.
to let everybody know in case they're wondering why I was fumbling and bumbling. That's what
Listen,
it was.
it all worked out. You did your best and you showed up, and this show was awesome as usual.
You guys
Ladies,
are rock stars.
Oh my God, it's always so fun. I always walk away going, oh my God, I just learned so much, and I just want to keep talking.
Yeah,
So thank you.
you.
And we will see you next Monday night, everyone. And if you can't get enough of us, I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. to 11 with the letter C for costumes. And we'll see what Halloween stories I have in store for the kids. And then tomorrow night is your beauty quarantine. And then Girls Gone Green. We will see what recipes our Dawn Maloney, our Hot Wings Maloney.
Hot wings.
And then I know we have a visitor, a guest. Christina Kimes will be on.
We have a special guest, Christina
for our
Kimes.
5 Minute with a Fan group. And really, honestly, I mean, life is just amazing.
It is. It is. Well, I hope you have a fantastic week. Thank you for all of your love and light and great information. You girls rock.
Kim, you're a rock star. Tracy, your makeup looks fierce tonight.
Thank
And
you.
I'm not even noticing it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
your lighting, everything was impeccable tonight. Be impeccable with your makeup. Guys, I'm Donna Vee. This is Kim Mazzella, and that is Tracy Locke. And we are the most amazing, intuitive women for Manifesting Monday. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.